Beyond 70. 7 surprising habits to release for a more joyful life. What truly holds us back after 70 isn't always obvious. It's often not about physical limitations, but about the invisible burdens we carry. Outdated habits, limiting beliefs, and emotional baggage that weigh us down. This video is about lightening that load. We'll explore 7 common, yet often overlooked, things that many people unknowingly carry into their later years, impacting their happiness and well-being. And more importantly, we'll discuss how releasing these burdens can create space for more joy, peace, and freedom. If you're over 70 or approaching this milestone and feeling a little stuck, this video might offer a fresh perspective. Stick with me until the end, because the final habit is one that can truly transform your relationship with life itself. Habit 1. The habit of comparing yourself to others. We live in a world obsessed with youth, achievement, and external validation, a world that constantly measures us against often unrealistic standards. By the time we reach 70, we've accumulated a lifetime of comparisons to siblings, colleagues, friends, neighbors, even strangers we encounter online or in the media. This habit, often unconscious, can steal our joy, erode our self-esteem, and make us feel perpetually inadequate. It's like running a race where the finish line keeps moving, leaving us feeling perpetually behind. We compare our careers, our families, our homes, our health, our travels, even our wrinkles, fostering a sense of lacking and discontent. Think of Margaret, 72, who constantly compared her quiet retirement to her friend's seemingly glamorous travels and bustling social calendar, meticulously documented on social media. Margaret, surrounded by the comfort of her home, her books, and her garden, felt her own life was somehow lacking, pale in comparison to the vibrant snapshots of her friends' adventures. She forgot, amidst the constant barrage of external images, that joy isn't a competition. It's not a prize awarded to those with the most impressive accomplishments or the most exciting experiences. True joy is a quiet inner experience, unique to each individual, cultivated in the stillness of self-acceptance and contentment. Letting go of comparison means shifting your focus inward, away from the external noise and the perceived successes of others. It means turning your attention to the richness of your own life, appreciating your unique journey, celebrating your strengths, acknowledging your accomplishments, and accepting your limitations with kindness and compassion. It means recognizing that everyone's path is different, shaped by unique circumstances and choices, and that your value isn't determined by external validation, likes, or comparisons, but by the depth and richness of your own lived experience. It's about recognizing that your journey is your own, and it's inherently valuable simply because it's yours. It's about finding peace and contentment in the present moment, appreciating the simple joys and the quiet moments that make up the tapestry of your life. It's about celebrating the person you are, with all your imperfections and triumphs, and recognizing the inherent worthiness of your own unique story. The freedom that comes from releasing the habit of comparison is a gift you give yourself, a path to genuine contentment and self-acceptance. Habit 2. Holding on to resentment. Resentment is like carrying a hot coal. It burns you more than it burns anyone else. After 70, we've all accumulated a lifetime of experiences, some joyful, some painful. We've encountered disappointments, betrayals, perhaps even deep injustices. Holding on to these hurts, allowing them to fester and grow, can poison our present and rob us of the peace and serenity we deserve. These resentments can manifest in various ways: bitterness towards others, anger at ourselves, or a general sense of cynicism and distrust. They can impact our physical health, contributing to stress, high blood pressure, and even digestive problems. More importantly, they can erode our emotional well-being, creating a constant undercurrent of negativity that prevents us from fully enjoying the present moment. Consider George, 78, who still harbored resentment towards a business partner who cheated him out of a significant sum of money decades ago. The injustice was real, the anger understandable. Yet, that anger, though justified, was impacting his health. He suffered from insomnia, his blood pressure was elevated, and he found himself increasingly isolated, pushing away loved ones with his bitterness. He clung to the story of his betrayal, replaying it in his mind, reliving the hurt and the anger. He had become a prisoner of his own resentment. Letting go of resentment doesn't mean condoning the hurtful actions of others. It doesn't mean forgetting or minimizing the pain you experienced. It simply means choosing to free yourself from the burden of anger, choosing to release the heavy weight you've been carrying for perhaps far too long. It means acknowledging the pain, allowing yourself to grieve the loss or the betrayal, and then consciously deciding to move forward unburdened by the past. It means recognizing that holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. This process doesn't happen overnight. It requires conscious effort, patience, and often a willingness to seek support from a therapist or counselor. Forgiveness, a powerful act of self-care, can be a crucial part of this journey. Forgiveness, even if it's just forgiving yourself for holding on for so long, can unlock a profound sense of peace and liberation. It's about recognizing that while the past cannot be changed, your relationship to the past can be transformed. It's about reclaiming your emotional energy, freeing yourself from the grip of negativity, and opening yourself to the possibility of healing and moving forward with greater lightness and joy. It's about choosing to live in the present, unburdened by the weight of past hurts, and embracing the peace that comes from letting go. Habit 3. The need to be right. How many arguments have you had? How much energy have you spent trying to prove you were right? As we journey through life, collecting experiences and wisdom along the way, the desire to be right can solidify into a rigid habit. After 70, this habit can become particularly entrenched, often isolating us from others and creating unnecessary friction in our relationships. It becomes a stumbling block, hindering genuine connection and understanding. We dig our heels in, clinging to our perspectives, unwilling to budge even an inch, sometimes sacrificing valuable relationships at the altar of being right. This stubborn insistence on correctness can manifest in countless ways: interrupting others mid-sentence to offer corrections, dismissing differing viewpoints without consideration, or engaging in endless debates where the goal isn't shared understanding, but rather a personal victory. Imagine Helen, 75, a loving mother and grandmother. She possessed a wealth of knowledge and life experience, and she often felt compelled to share it, even if unsolicited. Dinner conversations with her children and grandchildren often became tense battlegrounds. Helen would constantly correct their grammar, their pronunciation, even their opinions on current events. A simple discussion about a movie could devolve into a heated debate about historical accuracy, with Helen meticulously pointing out every perceived error. While her intentions might have been rooted in a desire to educate and guide, her insistence on being right created an atmosphere of tension and defensiveness. Her children and grandchildren began to dread these interactions, feeling their perspectives dismissed and their voices unheard. The very act of sharing, which should have been a source of connection and joy, became a source of stress and distance. Helen's need to be right, though perhaps unintentional, was inadvertently pushing away the people she loved most. Letting go of the need to be right doesn't mean abandoning your values or beliefs. It doesn't mean becoming a passive bystander, accepting every opinion without critical thought. It simply means shifting your focus from winning arguments to fostering connection. It means recognizing that being right, in the grand scheme of things, is often less important than building and nurturing meaningful relationships. It means choosing understanding over judgment, empathy over ego, and harmony over conflict. It involves actively listening to others, truly hearing their perspectives without interruption or immediate rebuttal. It requires cultivating humility, acknowledging that you don't have all the answers, and that other viewpoints, even if different from your own, can hold validity and offer valuable insights. It's about realizing that sometimes the greatest wisdom lies in simply listening and understanding, and acknowledging that being right isn't always the most important thing. It's about recognizing that the richness of human experience lies in the diversity of perspectives, and that true connection comes from a place of mutual respect and open-mindedness. Habit 4. Neglecting your creativity. Neglecting your creativity is a surprisingly common habit after 70. Many individuals mistakenly believe that creativity is a fixed trait, something you either possess innately or lack entirely. Some also harbor the misconception that creativity diminishes with age, like eyesight or hearing. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Creativity isn't a finite resource that dwindles over time. It's a dynamic life force, a wellspring of energy that can be nurtured and cultivated throughout our lives, regardless of age. It's a way to connect with our inner selves, to express our unique perspectives, and to engage with the world around us in meaningful and fulfilling ways. Creativity can manifest in countless forms, far beyond the traditional notions of painting, sculpting, or writing poetry. It can be expressed through gardening, tending to a vibrant collection of flowers and vegetables, witnessing the miracle of growth unfold under your care. It can be found in the kitchen, experimenting with new recipes, transforming simple ingredients into culinary masterpieces. It can be experienced through the rhythm of knitting needles or the intricate patterns of a quilt, creating tangible expressions of love and warmth. It can even be found in the simple act of storytelling, sharing memories and experiences with loved ones, weaving narratives that connect generations and preserve family history. Think of David, 71, a retired accountant who always harbored a secret desire to write poetry. Throughout his life, he dismissed this yearning, believing he was too old to start, that his practical, analytical mind was incapable of producing the lyrical beauty of verse. He suppressed his creative impulses, burying them beneath the weight of spreadsheets and financial reports. Then, one day, he stumbled upon a local writing group, a gathering of individuals of all ages and backgrounds who shared a passion for words. Hesitantly, he joined their ranks, and to his surprise, he discovered a hidden reservoir of creativity within himself. He found joy in the process of crafting poems, in finding just the right words to express his thoughts and emotions. He discovered a sense of community, a shared understanding with fellow creatives who embraced and encouraged his newfound passion. Don't let age or self-doubt stifle your creative expression. Don't fall prey to the limiting belief that it's too late to explore your creative potential. It's never too late to tap into the wellspring of creativity that resides within you. Challenge yourself to explore new hobbies. Revisit old passions that may have lain dormant for years, or simply allow yourself the freedom to daydream, to let your imagination wander and explore new possibilities. Nurturing your creativity, regardless of its form, can bring a profound sense of purpose, joy, and vitality to your life. It can open up new avenues for self-discovery, connection, and personal growth. Embrace your creative spirit and allow it to enrich your life in unexpected and delightful ways. Habit 5. The fear of vulnerability. As we journey through life, accumulating experiences, and perhaps a few scars along the way, we often develop protective mechanisms, ways to shield ourselves from emotional pain and vulnerability. One of these mechanisms, often unconscious, is the fear of vulnerability. We build walls around our hearts, fortifying ourselves against potential hurt, rejection, or loss. These walls, while seemingly protective, can also become barriers, preventing us from experiencing the full spectrum of human connection and intimacy. They can isolate us from others, creating a sense of loneliness and disconnection, even amidst a loving family or a circle of friends. After 70, having witnessed the inevitable cycles of life, loss, and change, this fear of vulnerability can become particularly pronounced. We may have experienced the pain of losing loved ones, the sting of betrayal, or the disappointment of unfulfilled dreams. These experiences, while shaping our resilience, can also leave us hesitant to open ourselves up fully to others, fearing a repeat of past hurts. Consider Mary, 76, who lost her husband a few years ago after a long and loving marriage. The grief she experienced was profound, a deep ache in her heart that she feared would never fully heal. In the aftermath of her loss, Mary began to withdraw from social interactions, creating an emotional distance between herself and her friends and family. She was afraid to open her heart again, fearing the vulnerability that comes with forming new connections. The thought of experiencing another loss, of enduring the same pain again, felt unbearable. She built a wall around her heart, protecting herself from potential hurt, but also inadvertently isolating herself from the love and support that surrounded her. One day, while visiting her daughter and grandchildren, Mary witnessed a tender moment between her granddaughter and a new friend. She watched as they shared secrets, giggled over silly jokes, and offered each other words of comfort and encouragement. She realized that despite the potential for hurt, these young girls were embracing vulnerability, forging a bond of friendship built on trust and openness. In that moment, Mary recognized a reflection of her own fear, and she began to question the walls she had built around her own heart. She realized that vulnerability, though scary, is also the gateway to love, belonging, and genuine connection. Letting go of the fear of vulnerability doesn't mean being reckless or naive. It doesn't mean throwing caution to the wind or sharing your deepest secrets with every stranger you meet. It simply means allowing yourself to be seen, flaws and all. It means recognizing that true connection comes from a place of authenticity, from sharing our true selves with others, even the parts we deem imperfect or unworthy. It means taking emotional risks, trusting others with our hearts, and allowing ourselves to receive the love and support that is often readily available. It's about understanding that while vulnerability can lead to pain, it can also lead to profound joy, intimacy, and a sense of belonging that enriches our lives in immeasurable ways. It's about recognizing that true strength lies not in building walls, but in opening our hearts, embracing our shared humanity, and allowing ourselves to be seen and loved for who we truly are. For Mary, this realization was a turning point. She slowly began to reconnect with her friends, sharing her grief and allowing herself to receive their comfort and support. She joined a local book club, a small step towards forging new connections and embracing the vulnerability of shared experiences. She began to realize that while the pain of loss would always be a part of her story, it didn't have to define her future. By allowing herself to be vulnerable, she opened herself up to the possibility of healing, growth, and new beginnings. Habit 6. Ignoring your intuition. Ignoring your intuition is a subtle yet pervasive habit that can significantly impact our well-being, especially as we navigate the later chapters of life. After 70, we've accumulated a wealth of experiences, both joyful and challenging, shaping our perspectives and honing our inner wisdom. This inner knowing, often referred to as intuition or gut feeling, is a powerful compass, guiding us towards choices that align with our deepest values and truest selves. Yet, we often dismiss this invaluable resource, second-guessing ourselves, prioritizing logic over our gut feelings, or allowing external pressures to override our inner voice. We may silence our intuition due to societal conditioning, past experiences where our feelings were dismissed or invalidated, or simply a lack of awareness of its presence and power. This disregard for our inner wisdom can manifest in various ways. We might find ourselves in unsatisfying relationships, pursuing careers that lack meaning, or making decisions that ultimately lead to regret. We might ignore red flags in situations, dismiss nagging doubts about a particular course of action, or override our inner sense of discomfort in order to please others or conform to societal expectations. Over time, this habit of ignoring our intuition can erode our self-trust, leaving us feeling disconnected from our inner guidance and vulnerable to external influences. Consider Robert, a vibrant 79-year-old who, despite his successful career as a financial advisor, found himself grappling with a significant financial setback. Robert had always prided himself on his analytical mind and logical approach to investments. However, when presented with a seemingly lucrative investment opportunity, he felt a nagging unease, a quiet inner voice urging caution. He dismissed this intuition, attributing it to his age or perhaps a touch of unwarranted conservatism. He reasoned that the numbers looked promising, the potential returns were substantial, and the advisors involved were reputable. He pushed aside his gut feeling, opting to rely on logic and external validation. Unfortunately, the investment turned out to be a scam, resulting in a substantial financial loss for Robert. This experience left him not only financially depleted, but also deeply shaken in his self-confidence. He realized that he had ignored his own inner wisdom, a wisdom cultivated over decades of experience, in favor of external pressures and perceived logic. Learning to trust your intuition is not about abandoning logic or reason. It's about integrating the wisdom of your head and the wisdom of your heart, creating a harmonious balance between intellect and intuition. It's about recognizing that your intuition is not a mystical force separate from your rational mind, but rather a deep reservoir of accumulated knowledge, experience, and emotional intelligence. It's about honing your ability to listen to that quiet inner voice, to discern the subtle whispers of your gut feeling amidst the noise of external pressures and conflicting opinions. It's about cultivating a sense of self-trust, recognizing that your inner wisdom is a valuable guide, capable of leading you towards choices that align with your authentic self and your highest good. Reconnecting with your intuition is a process that requires conscious effort and practice. It involves creating space for stillness and reflection, quieting the mental chatter, and allowing yourself to tune in to the subtle language of your inner voice. It might involve practices such as meditation, journaling, spending time in nature, or simply engaging in activities that bring you joy and a sense of connection to yourself. As you begin to pay attention to your intuition, you'll likely notice that it often speaks in subtle ways. A feeling of expansion or contraction in your chest, a sense of ease or unease in your body, a sudden flash of insight, or a recurring thought or image. The more you practice listening to these subtle cues, the stronger your connection to your intuition will become, and the more confidently you can navigate the complexities of life, making choices that resonate with your deepest wisdom and lead you towards greater fulfillment and well-being. For Robert, the experience of financial loss served as a wake-up call. He began to cultivate a daily practice of meditation, creating space for quiet reflection and reconnecting with his inner voice. He started to pay attention to his physical sensations, noticing the subtle cues his body provided in different situations. He began to trust his gut feelings, even when they seemed to contradict logic or external advice. Over time, he rediscovered the power of his intuition, a powerful tool that not only guided him towards wiser financial decisions, but also enhanced his relationships and deepened his sense of self-trust. He realized that by honoring his inner wisdom, he was not only protecting himself from potential harm, but also empowering himself to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. Habit 7. Resisting change. Resisting change is a common human tendency, a natural inclination to cling to the familiar and predictable. As we journey through life, accumulating experiences and establishing routines, we create a sense of comfort and stability in the known. However, life is a dynamic process, a constant flow of change and transformation. The seasons shift, relationships evolve, and circumstances alter, often unexpectedly. While the desire for stability is understandable, clinging too tightly to the familiar can become a limiting habit, particularly as we navigate the later chapters of life. After 70, having witnessed significant changes throughout our lives, personal, societal, technological, we may find ourselves increasingly resistant to new experiences, new ideas, and new ways of being. This resistance can manifest in various ways, from clinging to outdated technologies and resisting new learning opportunities, to avoiding social interactions and shying away from unfamiliar environments. This resistance to change often stems from a fear of the unknown, a concern about losing control, or a reluctance to step outside our comfort zones. We may have developed routines and habits that provide a sense of security and predictability, and the prospect of disrupting these familiar patterns can feel daunting, even threatening. We might tell ourselves that we're too old to learn new things, that change is too difficult, or that the old ways are better. These limiting beliefs can become self-fulfilling prophecies, preventing us from embracing new opportunities for growth, connection, and joy. Resisting change can lead to stagnation, isolation, and a sense of being disconnected from the vibrant flow of life. Consider Elizabeth, a spirited 74-year-old who, for years, resisted learning to use a computer. She clung to her familiar typewriter, convinced that computers were too complicated, too impersonal, and ultimately unnecessary. Her children and grandchildren tried to encourage her, offering patient guidance and highlighting the benefits of connecting with the digital world. However, Elizabeth remained steadfast in her resistance, viewing computers as a symbol of a rapidly changing world that she felt increasingly alienated from. She preferred the tactile experience of typing on paper, the familiar click of the keys, and the tangible presence of a finished manuscript. She felt comfortable and in control within her established routines and familiar tools. One day, Elizabeth's granddaughter sent her an email containing a collection of old family photos, digitized and preserved for future generations. Elizabeth was deeply moved by these images, snapshots of cherished memories and loved ones, some of whom had passed away. She realized that by resisting technology, she was inadvertently isolating herself from a valuable source of connection and shared history. This realization became a turning point for Elizabeth. She swallowed her pride and asked her granddaughter for help, embarking on a journey into the digital world with a mixture of trepidation and curiosity. To her surprise, Elizabeth discovered that learning to use a computer wasn't as daunting as she had imagined. With patient guidance and encouragement from her granddaughter, she began to navigate the online world, discovering a treasure trove of information, resources, and connection opportunities. She reconnected with old friends through social media, joined online communities centered around her interests, and even began taking online courses, exploring topics that had always fascinated her. She discovered a whole new world of possibilities, expanding her horizons and enriching her life in unexpected ways. Embracing change doesn't mean abandoning your values or traditions. It doesn't require you to discard everything familiar or embrace every new trend. It simply means cultivating an attitude of openness and curiosity, a willingness to step outside your comfort zone and explore new possibilities. It means recognizing that change is an inevitable part of life, and that resisting it only leads to stagnation and isolation. It's about adapting to new circumstances, continuing to learn and grow throughout your life, and embracing the wisdom that comes with age while remaining open to new experiences and perspectives. It's about recognizing that change, though sometimes challenging, can also be a catalyst for growth, connection, and renewed vitality. For Elizabeth, embracing change opened up a world of connection, learning, and joy. She realized that while the familiar can provide comfort, the unknown holds the potential for growth and discovery, enriching our lives in ways we can't always anticipate. She embraced the power of lifelong learning, the joy of connection, and the transformative potential of embracing change, proving that it's never too late to explore new horizons and expand our understanding of the world and ourselves. Letting go of these 7 habits isn't about striving for perfection or denying the challenges of aging. It's about creating space for more joy, peace, and freedom in this precious chapter of your life. It's about embracing the wisdom that comes with age, honoring your journey, and living each day with intention and gratitude. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it to your life. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Your likes really support the channel and help us reach more people looking to thrive after 60. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our latest tips and advice for living your best life after 60, all for free. We'll be back next week with more insights on life after 60. See you then.